Ha ha ha, here we are. Sunless Skies, one of my absolute favorite games in the world. I am so very excited to share it with everyone. I have played this one before, quite a lot, but I played it on my PlayStation, and I don't play on PlayStation anymore. I have never played it on my computer. So I have to start over entirely from scratch. Hey, Wolfie, welcome. Glad you could join me. We are playing Sunless Skies. And I was just saying how I am starting over completely from scratch. Oh, no worries, dude. No worries at all. So, a little bit of background because this is technically like the third game in a series. This is set in the Fallen London universe, which is a browser game that has been around forever. The premise is the 1800s, when Prince Albert died, Queen Victoria made a deal with these mysterious, powerful creatures from another realm. Basically, they'd bring Albert back if she gave them London. She took the deal. London was plunged deep underground in this place called the Neath, where the laws of physics and reality do not apply. There's mostly water there. It's called the Z because it was first discovered by Dutch sailors. And that's where Fallen London takes place. Then there came Sunless Sea, which is the game that first got me into this whole thing. I had tried Fallen London way back when, but daily action tab, not my bag. So Sunless Sea takes place in the Neath. You explore the Z, strange things happen. There's squid men, there's dark gods, you're Lovecraftian eldritch. There's the eldritch bat people, which are called the Masters of the Bizarre, and they used to kind of run things in London until Queen Victoria opened a gate in the Neath to the High Wilderness, which is where Sunless Skies takes place. Yeah, absolutely, Wolfie. I could not hold my attention either, and I hated the daily action taps. I love the lore, I love the world, just could not stick with it. But these games are fantastic. So, Sunless Skies takes place in basically a very Victorian idea of outer space. The world we see in here is based on Victorian fiction that dealt with outer space and what it could be and what they thought it was. Oh, well, this is a better game in that setting, Wolfie. It's just that London is now in the sky. So, all right, let's get going. Maybe, how do I? Wait, my controller's supposed to work with this. Oh dear. Why isn't my controller working? Hmm. All right, give me a second here. Oh dear. All right, it said that this was going to work with my controller, but I can't seem to make anything happen, which could be a problem. Uh-oh. All right, let's see here. Get my mouse out. Oh, Right. I'm really bad at these kinds of games with a keyboard and mouse because there is combat. Right. New game. Yep, we're doing a merciful campaign. Aiming assistance, moderate. We're doing on easy mode. Confirm. Hmm. Log of Her Majesty's Locomotive, the Orphean, March 14th, 1905. Our expedition to the domains of the dead has been eventful. The Orphean is damaged and in grievous need of repair and supplies. We are returning in haste to the Reach, for I hope to make port at New Winchester. May God be with us, for 1,000 deaths await in the sky. Final entry of Captain Amelia Charity Whitlock, PM. Okay, nope, I have to play with. Oh dear. We're gonna die a whole lot. Like, you have no idea. All right, here is our engine. You have returned to the Reach, an untamed, sunless span of the heavens, London's new frontier, a celestial garden run wild. Oh dear. Oh, okay. Oh, I went absolutely the wrong way. This game does not hold your hand. It kind of just throws you in and you get to figure it out as you go along. All right, here we go. Oh dear, what is this? Q and E. Oh dear. That means I'm gonna have to like fight things. Oh, my fingers are not up to this. Your journey back to the Blue Kingdom was tumultuous. Your locomotive is damaged and Captain Whitlock badly wounded. Whoa, wrong button, wrong button. Oh dear. As first officer, the crew look to you. The nearest station is New Winchester. Can you get the Orpheum there safely? We'll see. Oh, I really need a controller for this. Oh, all right, that's good because ooh. Oh, it's not the controller, I don't think. My controller's been fine. I think it's this game. It's not recognizing my controller. The wreck hangs in the sky, pocked with recent gunfire. You and the boarding party don your sky suits, garments of waxed canvas, lined with felt to protect against the cold of the sky. Two of the crew are whispering as they dress. What business does Captain Whitlock have in the Blue Kingdom anyway? Why the devil did we trespass on the districts of the dead? You silence them. Now is not the side. Across the wreck, the gap between the two engines isn't wide, but the endless fathoms of heaven gape beneath it. You jump. Your stomach lurches with vertigo as the stars blaze above you and below. The air of the heavens is thin and torn by unpredictable winds. Then your boots hit the running board of the Ozymandias, and your leather-gloved hands fumble for a hold. One of your companions throws you a line, and you lash the two engines together. Only then do the rest of the boarding crew follow you. One of them forces open an exterior hatch, and you clamber inside. Oh, okie dokie. Let me see how do I do that? Options. Options. Audio. Is that better? Okie doke, no problem. Continue. Her interior is cold, unlit, and whistles with wind. Your party's lamps spread buttery light over the narrow paneled passages. You make your way towards the hold, stepping over bodies crumpled in the corridor. Unfortunately, your way is blocked. A bulkhead has been mangled inward by a well-aimed barrage. All right, and we have two options here. And oh dear, my puppy is barking at my door. Not now, Bancho. I am busy. All right, we can clear the obstruction away, or lead your party on a more precarious path. So we have a 75% chance of success with this. These are our stats. There's really like 4 or 5 basic stats that cover everything. And we have an equal chance on both of them. Um, let's just clear the obstruction away. You locate a length of pipe to use as a pry bar and set to work. Failure! Oh, wow. A memory. As you strain against the stubborn steel, you remember an event from a year ago. A boiler explosion that trapped an engineer beneath a tangle of plating and pipework. The captain was first on the scene, you were second. Together you pried the wreckage upwards enough for you to crawl beneath it, while the captain braced a bar across her back. By all means, take your time, she grunted as you dragged the engineer out. Back in the present, the twisted bulkhead yields suddenly. The crewman cries out as its jagged edge bites him. You order him taken back to the Orpheum while the rest of you press on. The way is clear. Okay, at least they didn't die. They just got hurt. You have reached the Ozymandias' hold, a ruin of smashed cargo and spilled supplies. Hopefully, somewhere amidst the detritus, you can find parts to repair the Orpheum and restock your stores. We are going to conduct a thorough search. The companions work quickly. The Ozymandias' hull has begun to creak. Your actions on board may have compromised its integrity. You find enough food and gear to restock your supplies, and enough spare parts to make necessary repairs to the Orpheum. The food will need to be thoroughly thawed, of course, but you've eaten worse in the skies. Oh, ho! Cries one of your party, prying the lid off a long crate. It holds a cannon, still nestled in straw. Another crewman pulls a battered bird cage from a pile of ruined cargo. Within the cage, something winged and furred opens a sullen eye. You examine your finds. Oh, we have got 4 supplies. That is fantastic. And 15 hull. Our hull is repaired, which is good because I'm going to be really, really bad fighting with the keyboard. The Ozymandias emits a long, shuddering creak. Your boarding party exchange nervous glances. From the chaos of its hold, you have retrieved repairs and supplies and discovered some useful equipment. A gun that could be mounted on your locomotive, and an educated bat. Mount the Jerusalem cannon on the Orpheum. Her known weapons were damaged during your flight from the Blue Kingdom. That leaves you vulnerable. The Cotterell and Hassasad Jerusalem fires single shells to a good range more or less accurately. No, no, it doesn't. You order 2 of your party to get it back to your vessel and fit it immediately. The Ozymandias groans again. The structure shudders spasmodically. We have collected 1 Jerusalem cannon. Now we're going to liberate a diffident bat and employ it as a scout. The heavens are wide, so locomotives use scouts, like bats, to locate things of interest. Ports, resources, wrecks like this one to scavenge. The bat treats its rescue as an inconvenience, and immediately begins haggling over pay. You offer to put it back in its damn cage and leave it on the Ozymandias, at which point it becomes much more polite. You doubt it will last. Not without risk. Return to the Orpheum. You know what? We've got 2 fuel, we've got 5 supplies, we got the bat and the cannon. Let's not press our luck immediately. We've already failed 1 roll. You lead your boarding party back to your vessel. Unshackling her from the buckling Ozymandias, you stoke your engines and steam away, restocked, repaired, and rearmed. Crew give a ragged cheer. Okay, how do I do this again? Yeah, we're not sending out our scout. We don't need to yet. Oh, okay. Oh, I used the mouse to find. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Oh, summoned by Captain Whitlock. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined with a hodgepodge of curios from across the sky. Captain Whitlock lies in bed. Black marks cover her skin like a monstrous brand. When she coughs, coils of acrid smoke pour from her lungs. Inquire after the captain's injuries. The locomotive's doctor attends her. His lips are tight. A word of living fire pursued the Orphean across the Blue Kingdom. It caught you just before you passed through the transit relay to the Reach and set its brand upon the captain. It's burned itself right through her, the doctor whispers. When I closed the worst of her wounds, I could see the sign it seared into her bones and her organs. Judging from her symptoms, it's on the inside of her lungs, too. The captain leans to one side and vomits a plume of fire. There is nothing the doctor can do. All right. The captain opens her eyes as you draw near. She attempts to smile. Her mouth is blistered from the blue fires that dance on her tongue. Her hand grips your arm. Her skin is hot as a kettle. Made arrangements. The Orphean will be yours. Her voice is just a rasp of burned meat breath. But promise. She breaks off to scream a word in a language that was not made for human mouths. When she resumes speaking English, she is weaker. Her request little more than a gasp. Promise me one last service. Promise. Well, I mean, how can we deny that? Seriously. This is like a deathbed thing. We of course we're going to promise that we will obey her. Whatever it is, we'll see it done. She sinks back, relieved. All in my will, she gasps. Be a better. She breaks off as the sigils burned into her bones flare, growing cherry red through her flesh and skin. Better captain than I. The effort exhausts her. She sinks back into the scorched pillows in a twisting, frantic fever. Okie doke. Right, we have an engine to command. You leave the cabin and the scorched stink of its air behind and return to the bridge. Your Winchester is further than you'd like, and the captain hasn't long left. I'm just practicing how to shoot. Okay, all right. I'm actually doing better than I thought I would with the mouse controls. We are going to be coming up to a battle. I wonder, I'm going to check something real quick. Controls. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute here. Hmm. Oh ho ho! I had to set it looks like. Ho ho! Oh, this is wonderful. All right, much better. I just had to set it. The thing go, oh, now I need to learn how to do it. Okay, break, throw, dodge right, dodge left, boom, boom. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, okay. Ah, oh, lovely. All right. Okay, oh, here's our map. All right, I am figuring this out. Oh boy. I'm so happy I figured out how to use it with my controller. Oh, oh dear. Snap. Oh, I'm so glad this is when I figured out how to use the controller. Or that would have been terrible. A cantankerous placated. The cantankerous are lumbering, half-fossilized isopods that will attack anything they disapprove of. Given that they are very ancient and murderously grumpy, that means almost everything. The defeated cantankerous has been blasted to smithereens. Only a cloud of stony chunks remain. All right, well, I'm not gonna risk on a 24% chance of success. So we are going to disperse the rubble and lose terror because we don't want to have terror. Terror is bad out here. One good deed. You gently shunt the larger pieces away. The crew are heartened to be doing something for the general good. Oh no! I didn't take a single hit in the fight, and then I crashed into a wall. The Reach Marauder is defeated. You prepare to board the buckled wreckage, poised to plunder the plunderers. Behind you, someone is humming a song of victory. All right, we don't really need the repairs, so we're going to raid the remains. Marauders pillage homesteads and hunt travelers all across the Reach. They often carry stolen valuables. Ill-got gains. Your boarding party returns with wallets and watches, cufflinks, lockets, and keepsakes. You store them in the safe to be pawned when, if, you make it back to port. Thank Crofts Forum! Oh, we're almost to New Winchester. Actually, before we dock, I am going to pause a minute and check on my puppy. I will be right back. All right. That is all taken care of. Oh, yes, we are about to dock in New Winchester. I am slowly relearning the controls. They are slightly different than what I'm used to, but that's all right. Arrival at New Winchester. You coast into the bustle, the din, the soot and the steam of Wolsey Station. It is clogged with other engines, scrappy mining locomotives from Lustrum, weathered explorers gleaming with frost, sleek company vessels with bright brass fittings. No sooner have you pulled into the sidings than a brusque station master bustles over. He requests to come aboard. I must speak with your captain, he insists, brandishing a ledger. The usual formalities. Welcome, Wolfie. We have just arrived to the port we were looking for. And most importantly, I realized you just had to set under options for it to use the controller. So I'm on a controller now. And I was able to kill two things easily. And that's about all you've missed. We look to the Orpheum's doctor. He has just appeared at your shoulder. His face is solemn. His hat is in his hands. He lowers his eyes. The crew exchange bleak, wordless looks. The Orpheum itself feels suddenly more empty. The station master looks confused. You inform him that unfortunately, Captain Whitlock has just passed. Ah, he says neutrally. Sorry to hear that. Very sad, very sad. He waits for what he considers an appropriate minute and a half before continuing. Alas, even amidst tragedy, the cogs of bureaucracy must turn. If Captain Whitlock is deceased, the station authority require their answers from the first officer. He dons a set of spectacles and locates his pen. It will be relatively painless. Name, background, purpose of visit, etc. Shall we begin? So this is our character creation menu coming up. This is where we choose our background. I have already thought about the captain we're going to make. She is an academic. She was a student of literature, and that is what sent her into the high wilderness. She wants to experience things so she can write about them, which means take literature. You were an academic. Perhaps you were educated at one of the esteemed colleges of Bentinck or Somerset. Perhaps you taught yourself through trial and error and grit. But what was your field of study? Literature. Once the most indulgent of studies, now the most seditious. The Ministry of Public Decency has gutted the libraries. And we are going with the fame ambition. You will immortalize your exploits in the song of the sky. For centuries, people have launched themselves into the unknown in the hope of making a name for themselves. You're sure you'll succeed. After all, you never heard of anyone who didn't. Gather stories of your exploits and write about them in New Winchester. And here we get to make our little captain. That's some good hair. Oh, I do like a monocle. Oh, there, she looks like an academic. There we go. So her address is going to be, where is it? Professor. And her name is Augustina. seems to have broken something. There we go. All right. Here is our starting captain. Now, I am playing Merciful, which means when we die, we can just reload from the next save. We don't have to start over with a new captain every time we die. That wouldn't be fun for us all. So, all right, let's start the game. The reading of the will. 3 weeks have passed. This morning, Captain Whitlock received a simple memorial service. Her body was consigned to a necropolis train bound for the serene mausoleum. Now you sit with a handful of her relatives in the threadbare offices of her solicitors. Methodical notaries reading the will. The captain was wealthy once, but squandered her capital on mysterious expenses before her expedition to the Blue Kingdom. Listen to the end. The captain's relatives, from whom she was mostly estranged, are clearly wondering why you are here. True to her word. In a final codicil, the notary announces, Captain Whitlock confirmed that possession of the Orpheum was to pass to its first officer. He peers at you with dry, grey eyes. This includes a certain black box contained in the Orpheum's hold. Captain Whitlock's final request was that, at a time of your choosing, you transport said box to an address in London. He hands you an address card and deposit it there. You are not to look inside. She gave no explanation. And that's it. You're captain now. The Orpheum is yours. Captain Whitlock's legacy. You can investigate the black box at New Winchester. You could take the box to London as requested, or you could sell it and be done. All right, we're not a jerk, so we're not going to sell it. You have been bequeathed a large black box, which once belonged to Captain Whitlock. You have gained 100 sovereigns. Our new total is 133. And here we are in New Winchester. This is the hub port for the Reach, which is the starting area. There are 4 separate areas, and they get harder and more terrifying as you go. Excuse me. This is also the place that has a bunch of tutorial stuff. I'll kind of go through it just for everybody to understand where we're at. So here's all the different things we can do at Wolsey Station, the clamoring central station of New Winchester, a place of steam and smut and thundering iron. Here, you can find people willing to pay for a skilled captain's service. So we can explore the city. We can recruit the incautious driver. There is an opportunity. We can investigate the black box, follow our ambition, repair our locomotive, or hire on crew. Now, we are down 3 crew members, but this all costs money. We have precious little money right now. But we're going to start with first things and explore the city. The smoggy, clanking, singing, stamping, thronging, frantic heart of the Reach. An ever-expanding port of soot-smudged glass and bright steel, spilling across a drifting, mist-wrapped archipelago. Its factories thunder. Its engine sheds ring with hammers and hiss with steam. Locomotives chug into sidings for repair, or flare across the sky and away into the high wilderness. An opportunity. Learn about trading. Successful skyfarers fund their expeditions by dabbling in trade. Inquire whether there are any good trading opportunities available. Yeah, trading is really important for money making. On the Petal Trail. A porter at the station advises you to visit the nearby pub at the Promise of Days and talk to the seasoned captains there. They keep their ears to the ground. They'll know about an opportunity or two. So now we go and visit the Promise of Days, a club where seasoned captains gather to trade stories and share advice with young skyfarers. Which, I guess is what we count as. Old pistons gleam on the walls. The shelves are crowded with mementos from across the sky. The clientele raise their voices to be heard above the comforting clamor of the adjacent engine yards. You may find helpful advice here. Yes, we absolutely will. So we're going to introduce ourselves to the seasoned captain. They're always happy to offer words of advice, sometimes many words. Four are gathered at their usual table. The masked citizen, a libertine, polymath, and pioneer of the neo-nocturnal artistic school. The bedeviled didact, a scholar haunted by his discoveries. The plucky baroness, explorer, collector, philatelist. And spatchcocker Meg, who hunts monsters. Of course, everything out here is jolly dangerous, says the Baroness. So you risk the skies, so news of distant ports is valuable. Collect port reports from the places you visit, and deliver them to Victory Hall or Company House. The more you turn in at once, the more they'll pay. Yeah, port reports are also very important for money making. Look for other opportunities on the way, advises the masked citizen. Passengers who want transport, rich men in need of bloody work, etc. Ask them how to make your fortune through trade. Between them, they've carried Navrantine gemstones from Eleutheria, souls to the Blue Kingdom, and raw hours to London. Have they tips? Bargains and prospects are very important. Ah, the Didact says, fiddling with his innumerable talismans. An essential topic. Meg slides you a stool, and the captains shuffle around to make room. The masked citizen buys you a drink of their own invention. It is violet and foggy. The plucky baroness gives you a brisk, encouraging grin. Ask away. How can you buy and sell goods? You can sell practically anything at the big trade hub like New Winchester, the Baroness answers. If you want to buy, though, you'll need to travel to more distant ports. Each specializes in a particular export. Meg spits chewing tobacco onto the floor. No money in buying at market prices and selling at 'em, though. You want to look for bargains, or prospects of people offering better money. Buy cheap, sell dear. You can sell, not buy, any trade good at a major port. Lesser ports each sell a single good. You can see what a port exports by selecting it on your chart, and that is very important to keep track of. Where might you learn of these opportunities? The masked citizens sips their drink. The biggest port in each region has a bazaar where captains do business. There, you'll learn of people in other ports, prepared to pay over the odds for a commodity. When you accept the commission for a prospect, it's yours. No other captain will pursue it. It's all fantastically civilized. Their smile is droll. You'll have to source the goods yourself, of course, says the bedeviled Didact. Find a port that exports them. The client will want a certain amount. You can supply some or all of it. But if you provide all they need, they may furnish you with an additional reward. And ask them if they know of a good prospect. As a point of fact, I do, says the masked citizen, tapping an elegant finger on their elegant glass. The host at Magdalen's needs an urgent delivery of seeds, paying a pretty penny, too. If I were you, I'd get to the bazaar straight away, put my marks against it. Meg grunts. Broker in Port Avon is selling cheap seeds. Chirpy chap, God knows why. His face looks like it's been put through a mangle. An opportunity. Port Avon lies to the east of New Winchester, and Magdalen's lies to the west of New Winchester. All right, so that's very important. Those are the most directions you get in this game. Just the general direction a place is in, and that's pretty much it. They bid you assorted variations of goodbye as you leave the smoke and hubbub of the frost. Is there anything else to explore? All right. Check out. No. Shops. Bazaar. Yep, seeds for Magdalene. So we are going to claim that prospect. And might as well claim this one too. Yeah, pretty much. Good effing luck. Abraham's Engineering, we don't need them yet. Victoria Market, this is where we can buy fuel and supplies, which is the most important thing. We want to buy that before we do anything else. We don't want to run out of those in the vastness of space. It's bad. It's happened to me. Things don't go well, you usually don't come back from it. All right. And we still have 53 sovereigns. Oops, that was wrong. There we go. All right. Oh, we should check in on our ambition. This is basically our winning conditions for the game. It's our main quest, essentially. Ours is to write the Song of the Sky. The Song of the Sky looms in your mind, an unfinished monument. Where to begin? And this is going to tell us what we need to do for the first step of our ambition. You take advantage of a quiet moment to pull out your journal. The blank page sits before you, smug and unblemished. The horror. At last, inspiration strikes. You need fresh material. That's the ticket. So we need to gather tales of terror and sky stories to begin the Song of the Sky. Right. Let's check out the incautious driver. I specialize in test driving, but I'm looking for something quieter. The driver indicates a crashed engine still smoking. Like that, without the screaming. Now, how much do you cost? Oh, only 20 sovereigns. So yeah, we are going to recruit them. Officers are good to have. The driver boards, eager to get started. I recently parted ways with the Windward Company, they explain. Personally, I think a crash a week isn't so bad. They disagreed. Oh well, live and learn. And see, if I'm terrible at driving, it's not my fault. It's because we hired this person. And now, what we need to do is, yes, oh, it was automatically assigned. Fantastic. So there. Now we have our first officer. Who, oh, what do they give us? Okay, +6 to iron and +2 to hearts. That is good. Our officers will help boost our stats. All right, so we have a prospect. Yeah. So we want to go to Port Avon first. It lies to the east of New Winchester. Yeah, I think that's everything there then. Undock. Let's check our chart. All right, so it's just going to be over here somewhere. This is our whole map of the Reach. There's a whole lot of terrible things out there. And away we go. Oh, this game is so beautiful. I love the depth of the backdrops. Right. Right, well, we'll go up here and around. That'll get us heading in an easterly direction. Yeah, this is a beautiful game. And it only gets better from here. This is the boring starting area. Oh, something loaded in. taste of smog, the sound of iron on iron. Home. Except we're leaving home, not heading towards it. Oh, I don't think I can do anything with this. A complex of celestial ruins, bristled with leaning pillars. Yeah, I don't have any of the fancy things for my ship yet. We can't afford them. A distant nebula shines on this place, its light as mellow as melted butter. Oh, that means we're getting close to Port Avon. Oh, yep, it's the Port Avon area. Today, the sky is as cool and blue as ice in a glass. Oh, fantastic! We have found Port Avon already. We're gaining experience. Ooh, we're about to level up, too. Oh, we just leveled up. Arriving at Port Avon, behold, a ruin of giants. Gargantuan blocks jigsaw together, furred with moss and whispering with orchards. A bucolic village nestles amongst them. Smoke coils daintily from the chimneys. A leisurely game of cricket unfolds on the village green. A ramshackle dock juts into the sky beside a farmyard scattered with rusty locomotive parts, plating, piping, a chugging motor with its innards exposed. An oily-faced, black-haired girl waves your locomotive into position. Welcome to Port Avon, she calls as you disembark. A rich nod of scents greet you. Leaves and wood smoke, enriched by a new freehold and pungent intrusion of goat. Port Avon welcomes new visitors, but your novelty will wear off the more time you spend there. When you visit in the future, you may need to bring something to keep them friendly. Our welcome is now free, so we can do like 3 things here. First, we're going to write a port report. Were it not for talk of smugglers and sky beasts, you could easily confuse this place for a village on the world you left behind. It's quite peaceful here, apart from some fuss over a newspaper delivery. The villagers frown and change the subject when you ask about it. Okay, we can't do any of those things, but we don't need to. We're on the dot. Let's check out the village green. Oh, we should go to the shops. I don't know if we can actually afford these. We can afford one. But that's all right because these hang around. We don't need to do it just yet. We found the place. We can come back here whenever, and we want to deliver our port report to get the money for it. A golden nebula scintillates over Port Avon's apple trees, allotments, eel fishers, and steepled church. Here you may, if you choose, immerse yourself in the village's quaint rhythms. The oral sommelier. Someone has grafted brass wheels to the carcass of an old armoire and impaled its top with a jaunty damask umbrella. Let's talk to this person. Sweet wine, sour wine, subtle wines, and sinful. Spirits of every vintage, save, of course, the Hesperidian cider. He gives a small, sad laugh. I know because I looked. This is the only place with real apples, but even here that cider eludes me. He beckons you with a gloved hand. Well, of course, we have to ask him about the Hesperidian cider. A rare vintage, unheard of and unseen since London. This merits investigation. Come here, come close and listen, you effervescent thing. I have a story. An associate of mine, he once gave me a sip of it, one golden drop to place under my tongue, and my life was changed. A carnivorous pleasure seeps into his voice as he speaks. I went back to the store immediately, of course, but the price was too much. And then eventually the dreams dreamed away, and now I'm here serving wine to drunks. His laughter is black and bitter. The Auroral Sommelier gives you the address, nonetheless, just in case. If you decide to risk the same grief, savor it for me. Right, apparently purchasable from an unusual shop in London. We are a long way from London. All right, we can take a relaxing stroll around the village. We could watch a cricket match. We don't need to do any of those things because we really don't have terror. And this is great for managing terror. But we want to go to the Nowhere Inn. Fotheridge's A Tour of Heaven describes Port Avon's simple public house as a welcome respite, justly famed for its authentic Old Earth cider. The locals can be welcoming for a while. You may be able to recruit more crew here. We're okay on crew. Port Avon's first public house stands amidst a nodding copse of apple trees. Ooh, we can read a work of speculative fiction. In the nook by the fireplace, a shelf of magazines. Each contains a story by the local author, the turbulent fabulous. The fabulist's work has been accepted in a number of publications, including Murgatroyd's Miscellany, Hearth and Heaven, and The Seasonal. He is prodigious. Which story catches your eye? Let's just start with the first one, The Eyes of Heaven, being a thrilling tale of discovery and danger in a sky heretofore unknown. They burned the charts, for what use were they now? The incorrigible thundered through an empty, untamed heaven, blown with a frost wind. Ahead, a new sun blazed, the size of a penny through the forward windows. It was a long way to go. We're wearing out our welcome, but we have a sky story. Fantastic. All right. Not what I'm trying to do. There we go. They sell fuel and supplies, which we do not need. So, mm, we might as well grab one of them. All right, and now we're going to head back to New Winchester and not crash in to the sides. All right, how did we come? Let's try going up and around and opening up a little more of the map. Yes, I know my hold is almost full. It's fine. Oh, I forgot to level up. How do I do that? Yes, not how. There we go. All right, this is how we level up, and we basically build our history this way. These are the facets available to us. Scarred, a spell in prison, a scandal, a masterpiece, and an interlude in red and gold. Each of these will increase our stats by varying amounts. Let's take a look. All right, we're lowest on hearts and irons. So anything that boosts either of those. Mirrors and iron. Hearts and veils. Veils, hearts, or veils and iron. Iron and mirrors. All right, well, I think we're actually going to go with I really wish we could get hearts and iron up. Oh, wait a minute, scarred. 5 iron, 3 hearts. Here we go. You came close that day to death. It left its mark. What was it that nearly killed you? And we're going with an engine accident to get the hearts and the iron. A breached pipe, a jet of scalding steam. You spent a week on the brink, trapped in boiling dreams. The scars are still livid on your skin. There we go. Our little engine chugging along. The starter engine is not great, but you can add things to it to make it a bit better. The clamor of New Winchester can be heard on the wind, familiar as a disagreeable uncle. Let's not crash into things. It's going to take me a little bit to learn the map because every time you start a game, the map is a little bit different. Definitely not going to go to Winchester. We are going to look for Victory Hall because that is where I turn in that port report and get money for it. And also set some other storylines in motion. And generally, Victory Hall is up here around Winchester somewhere. Ah, Victory Hall. We found it. The Assembly, a coalition of independent-minded settlers, colloquially called Tackities, gather and argue here. Deliver port reports here, deposit, receive rewards, and win the Tackities' favor, which we want. We support the Tackities. Raised in the wake of the blockade of New Winchester, its magnificence of glass and steel houses the Colonial Assembly. Take a look around. The Tackities, those settlers who want independence from London, may have work for a skyfarer. The music of democracy. Today, the chambers of Victory Hall echo with shouting. The assembly is in session, and outraged roars descend from the boardroom to the palatial lobby. A discreet functionary escorts you from the premises before you hear anything too juicy. "You're a captain, aren't you?" she inquires, once you're safely outside. "If you want to be of service, bring us news from other ports. The Windward Company have spies everywhere, and we need recent, accurate information of our own." All right, and that's what we're going to do. Deliver our port report to the Indurate veteran. Her tireless exertions during the blockade earned her both a seat on the Assembly and enemies in London. She likes to keep abreast of events, and that's her portrait on the side there. She is a cool lady. She listens with a scowl. "Well, I'd rather know than not, I suppose. And thank you for bringing this to me rather than the bloody stovepipes. I'll arrange a gratuity. We've gained $100! Yay! And we've gained fortune from the Tackities and taken away from the stovepipes." We can chat with her. She's taking a moment in the atrium, watching the stars burn coldly in the mist. Her skin is brown and her hair is beginning to gray. She wears a heavy unbuttoned coat, the metals gleam in the shadows behind its lapels. One half of her face is scarred from frostbite. She's enjoying a quiet cigarillo while her peers argue in the Chamber of Assembly. You talk for a while about life in the skies. When her cigarillo is just a stub, she says, I'd be grateful to hear your reports of your travels, Professor. I suspect all manner of strife and imprudence is going to kick off in the foreseeable. I mean to be ready for it. Yeah, there is a war brewing. Certainly have enough fuel and supplies to get back to Port Lipon, to buy the seeds, to take to Magdalis. And by the time we get there, we should have room in our hold for them. Yeah. Worst comes to worst, I can buy stuff at Port Lipon. This is a lot of the early part of the game. Going back and forth trading, trying to make money, and opening up the map. How do we get there? Up here. Hoping we'd run into some marauders or something along the way that I could shoot and take things from. But there don't seem to be any in this area. So far, terror's going up. The higher your terror gets, the more bad things happen. You absolutely do not want to max out your terror. Not if I had my light on. Having your light on helps the terror. Old stones and forgotten ruins lie tumbled across the sky. Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't even use up a whole thing of... haha, no damage. I didn't hit it. Ooh, sorry, repentant devil. I can't grab you right now. I need to buy seeds. How much? We'll see. 20. Just to be safe, because we're going off into who knows where to try and find Magdalens. Somewhere to the west of New Winchester. Which would be matters. Well, I hope everybody had a very nice day today. I had a pretty chill one. I love how it goes from nice, clean, beautiful air to terrible, smoggy when you get near New Winchester. Lights in the distance. A stoker begins to sing a ballad about the chimneys of New Winchester. The chimneys that are causing all this terrible smog. But we are not stopping in New Winchester this time. We're just driving by it. Terror's not bad. It'll be fine. Hold on a moment. My dog is barking again, and I need to go see what's up. All right, all set. Now we head west and hope we find Magdalene's. All right, yeah, we just go in this direction until we find something. Oh, that's uh-oh. Okay, we're gonna go down here instead. Hmm. That's Packety Scout. We don't bother them. They're the good guys. That's another one. They do drive like they're drunk, though, because they probably are. I may have made a mistake here. Oh, that's nice. I need to find Magdalene's. All right, going in a westward direction again. Not a great sound I can hear there. Got a lighthouse. That's a good sign. Uh, that's usually something to plunder. Boy, the indefatigable. Oh, that's not a very good option. All right, we're just gonna restore some hull. And hey, we're back to full hull. Uh-oh! Oh dear! Oh no! Oh no! Yes! Fine, fine. Oh, then I straight like right into the thing. Oh, this is bad. These things are awful. Yeah, I know I'm overheating. It's fine. Oh my goodness, come on, just die already. Yeah, I know I'm overheated. Oh my goodness, why won't it die? There we go. I've probably got this now. Yep, nope, nope. We just bombard them. We do not mess around with guests. Your crew cheer. Your guns blaze. The guests burst into sprays of mints. As they die, they emit a gloomy, whistling noise. It is rhythmic, emotional. Are they praying? Yeah, oh, damn it, the waste wave is watching us. But our terror has fallen. All right, where even am I now? Well, that was awful. And I lost way more hull than I repaired. That's the high wilderness for you. Oh, okay, getting a little bit of a ruddy tint. We want to look for a red tint in the sky. That means we're near Magdalene's. I don't want to use my scout because it uses up supplies. And half the time it doesn't actually find what you're looking for. Do okay, mistakes may have been made. This is not looking like the area we want. Uh, oh, maybe? Yeah, I know I'm low on supplies. Perkins Copes? Oh. Haha, we did it! We found Magdalene's! There's the dock, Captain, the signaler declares. The crew are relieved at the thought of solid land. Oh, there seems to be a space battle happening over there. Not our problem. All right, the first thing we do is sell those. Magdalene's provides comfort and sympathy to the weary skyfarer. Its hosts will tell you any lie you need to hear. Some of those lies require flowers. The amenable host wants up to 3 sacks of verdant seeds and will pay 80 sovereigns for each. The amenable host smiles. Just what we needed, although I must admit I do miss roses and lilies and bluebells. Still, these celestial blooms have their own virtues. Some of them weep, you know. He pays you a generous gratuity. Now we have almost $400. Look at that. Oyster nectar. Oh, we can get chorister nectar in better ways. Whoops, not what I meant to do. Nice. We can definitely spend some of our money on a few more fuel and supplies. Okie dokie, you have a good night, my friend. I'm glad you joined me for a while. Heck yeah, talk to you later, dude. Oops, again, I didn't mean to do that. All right, we don't have nightmares, so we don't need to worry about that. Our terror actually isn't bad, so we don't need to worry about that either. So let's just check out the House of Small Comfort. Magdalene's is the closest thing many Skyfarers have to a home. It offers services to alleviate the strain of a life spent too close to the stars. The glass spires of Magdalene's pierce the clouds like swords. Shadowed figures can be seen moving through the gleaming corridors, their identities obscured by the hued glass. Crowds of Skyfarers, ministry officials, and merchants mill about the forecourt in varying degrees of distress. All watch the clock set in the great clock tower, waiting for their appointed hour. Now we can speak with an attendant. We can write a report, which we absolutely want to do. Magdalene's is abuzz with activity. Barely has the clock chimed that a clamor goes up at the front desk, guests rushing to and from appointments. Lord Blank was seen in conversation with the amenable host. The east wing was closed for general access all day. A certain distinguished admiral was seen with his second in command entering one of the chambers of regret. Several guests had come to an excess of sentimentality and were forcibly removed. Let's speak with an attendant. Staff at Magdalene's promised treatments for the deleterious effects of the high wilderness, loneliness, desperation, folly, regret, love. An attendant in the foyer schedules appointments with the aid of a hefty daybook and a very accurate clock. They are eager to explain the procedures and the rules that govern here. This is a hospital for the spirit. Our staff will become the person you need. Here you may say farewell to a doomed comrade, resurrect an old love, spar with a defeated enemy, all for a fair price. But do not overindulge. Our services are to heal, not to become an addiction. The amenable host strides past, ignoring the crowd of admirers that follows him through the hallways. We can observe the guests going in for treatment. Some smile, others weep. One lady has a terrible gleam in her eye, another a recording device. A trio of guests is going in together, all dark-haired and straight-backed. Yes, I know it's not the real thing, but I'd like a sense of closure, the tall woman says. What rot, barks the short woman next to her. You want to argue over the will again. I have told you once I am not giving up the spoons based on a charlatan say-so. Do be quiet, please, the one man says. I, for one, am more than happy to hear again why I was lumbered with a third-best wardrobe. A mother wanders past with a young boy. He would only over-listen to his old arithmetic tutor. His debt has been rather expensive. I love just the whole concept of this place. Oh, we can talk to the patients being discharged. They exit the treatment chambers, fresh from their encounters with attendants in the guise of their most personal memories. 7 devils emerge from the chambers, their eyes all alight. They huddle in the atrium, apparently comparing notes. We can seek a meeting with the amenable host. There may be business to discuss with them. Unfortunately, the host has many calls on their time, and you have yet to become a known face around these parts. Perhaps once you've availed yourself of the services, they will have time to speak. Ah, so we have to use the services before we can take a meeting with the host. Well, we really don't need their services right now. And we've done what we came here to do, so let's get out of here. All right. What was our it was souls. Report Prosper. Oh, Prosper lies to the northwest of New Winchester. But we want to wait until we find souls on a bargain. Never pay market price. We can go back and see if there are any new bargains. And oh, what's happening over here? Oh, yeah, we're gonna help the Cacades fight this dreadnought. For the reach! I'm fine, I'm fine. Uh-oh, I'm not fine. I'm not fine. I'm not fine. This was a mistake. I'm glad I just left port. No, 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 no. Whoops. Uh-oh. That was an accident. I'm sorry, Tackities. Oh, I don't want to go that way. Hmm. I'm just gonna sneak by them. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, we are not fine. If we take any damage, we are dead. But that's all right. We were just at Magdalene's. That's where it saves. We can restart from there if need be. Oh. Oh dear. Uh, yeah, we just gotta leave it be, unfortunately. Your engine's usual hum has risen to a frantic whine. The pistons pump continuously. Your stokers work double shifts to keep the hungry fires fed. Yeah, we suffered a critical hit, and the shrapnel pierced the hull and perforated a cluster of pressure lines. Oh, and that's a marauder. Nope, 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 nope. I'm not here. Don't worry about it. Just ignore me. Ignore me. Ignore me! All right. We're okay. We're okay. I'm not gonna touch that because something's gonna pop out and attack me, and I can't deal with that right now. So we're just gonna leave the Duluth alone as we return to New Winchester. Yep, that too. We're gonna leave that alone. Leave that alone. We're not risking anything. We have almost no hull left. Wispy condensation trails cross the sky, ghosts of passing trains. Very careful not to damage ourselves on the dock. Oh, we made it. Oh yes, the bank, that is important, but the most important thing, Abraham Systems engineering? No. Hmm. All right, where are we? Repair your locomotive. Here it is. Three sovereigns per. Oh boy. Oh, 87. You know what? That's not bad. Let's just do it. We're gonna make 100 when we turn in our port report. Okay. Oh. Oh, and that's gonna cost me 100 solvent sovereigns. All right, fine. Your engineers replace the damaged pressure lines and give your engine a thorough service. Your stokers breathe a sigh of relief. Yeah, we're gonna leave now. And go turn in our port report. We have money to stock up on fuel and supplies for another venture into the high wilderness. Oh, and I gotta look at what other prospects are available. Visit Victory Hall. Deliver my port report. 100 sovereigns. All right, 231. Not bad. Two tacky gratitude. That's nice. Ooh, we can trade favor for an otherworldly artifact. It is customary for representatives to bring gifts from their territories. Examples of local craftsmanship, mysterious finds, untangled from the knotty roots of the Reach. The peculiarities are added to the overflowing cabinets in the Ward Griffiths archive. You know what? Let's go for it. Otherworldly artifacts can come in handy. The archive is a jumble, semi-sorted and barely catalogued. The curator, in a different man plagued by a phlegmy cough, is happy to loan you an exhibit. Doesn't check it out. There is no talk of returning it. If anything, he's happy to see it gone. And now we have an otherworldly artifact. Zoom goes the engine. Right. Get prospects and stock up. Hours for the circus's ringmaster. Wanted up to 5 barrels of unseasoned hours. Deliver to the ringmaster, Palmier and Plenty's inconceivable circus, the Reach. The inconceivable circus lies to the north of New Winchester. Ooh, a battered old captain at the station mentions an engine newly docked at Port Avon that he suspects is carrying barrels of unseasoned hours. All right, that's good to know. We are just going to buy one supply. Honda. Head back over to Port Avon. How lucky that they've got ours. And then we get to go looking for a circus. I'm going the right way, right? Yep. It always takes me a little while to learn maps. I am not great with maps. Especially because this map is subtly different from the map I'm used to playing on my other game, on my PlayStation. Everything's in a different place. we're about to level up again soon. Nice. Trans woo woo. Yes, I'm going the right way. Old stones and forgotten ruins lie tumbled across the sky. Ah, here we are. A new smell behind the coal and the oil. A green, unlikely scent of apples. Hello, Port Avon. I hear you have powers. Oh, I don't want to do that. I thought it was at the bazaar. Hmm? 300 sovereigns. Jeez. 500 now. I won't receive any hours, but I will get 5 Avon welcomes. And I don't think I have any affiliation with villainy, so you know what? Yeah, we're gonna sell out the smugglers. A mining vessel is docked at Port Avon to the consternation of its residents. The locals complain of noises in the night and wrongdoing up in the ruins. A late-night excursion reveals the villagers are correct. The miners are attempting to fence stolen hours to buyers they meet within the ruins that loom over the village. Yeah, that just sounds like it could bring bad things down on this lovely little town. You set up a midnight meeting with the captain in the ruins. Once it's confirmed, you head straight to the Nowhere Inn and locate the burliest McDonald's you can find. The ensuing brawl is vigorous and brief. The smugglers are bundled into their engine and pushed out of the station and informed they'll be watched for, before everyone retires to the Nowhere for drinks. You don't have to buy a single round all night. All right, well, we can go back to the inn and read another work of fiction. The Bones in the Well, being a macabre tale of one soul's descent into solitude and madness. On the third day, it rained. The sky was a gray, drizzly circle in the well's mouth far above. The rubble underfoot darkened and swam with mud. Perhaps he would drown today, Joseph thought. A slow way to die, he remarked to the skeleton that shared the well with him. Raindrops tip-tapped on its skull. The skeleton was a good listener. Joseph had already shared all his secrets with it. All that is, except one. Now, holding on to that last secret seemed pointless. After all, he was likely to drown before dinner time. He cleared his throat. It was I who pushed you, he confessed. Our terror has fallen, and we have one tale of terror. Ooh, speak to a short-sighted cryptozoologist. She perches on a stool in the corner, staring at a map of the Reach. I could have... No, must have taken the wrong connection at New Winchester. A tiny figure weighed down by 2 backpacks and a heavy duffel coat looked through thick glasses at her map and then up at you. Excuse me, I need passage. I don't suppose you could help me. I'm on the trail of unusual beasts. I can pay you for your time. Where does she need to go? Lustrum, beams the short-sighted cryptozoologist. She leans in conspiratorially. Then, realizing that she's whispering to one of the inn's wooden beams, leans over to where you actually are. I hear there's a curator who lives there, with the people. Mr. Pennies! I've always wanted to meet a curator, just safely. Mr. Penny's is my favorite. We are absolutely going to take her to see Mr. Penny's. You have agreed to escort the short-sighted cryptozoologist. The short-sighted cryptozoologist almost boarded someone else's locomotive. A kindly stoker guided her the right way and onto yours. Right. Intercede in a mushroomy matter. The pub is out of scrumpy. The barman blames a creature, a cross between a mushroom and a jellyfish. It sways in its seat at the bar. Who does this creature belong to? Bellows a man, fuchsia with rage. The Blemmigan he points at is a grizzled member of its species, most of whom were left behind in the neath. The fuchsia gentleman roars in fury. Between bellows, the truth emerges. The Blemmigan is no one's pet, and, far worse, no one will admit responsibility for its tab. The Blemmigan is unconcerned with the tumult. It nods its cap at you with grim respect, then flops the tendril into a mug of stout. It stares weakly through the window. We can sell its bar tab. How much is your bar tab? 50? Yeah, we're gonna pay for the Blemmigan's booze. The Blemmigan is looking to sign on for one last journey. If you settle its bill, it'll join you on your locomotive. Heck yeah, and we get some more iron. As the fuchsia gentleman inflates for a particularly prolonged diatribe about ill-mannered captains and their disorderly pets, the Blemmigan climbs to the bar top to consider your face. It likes what it sees. With a sound like a shoe being pulled from a swamp, the Blemmigan finishes its drink. It clambers up your arm until it reaches your shoulder, from where it directs you to the door. It is experienced in surviving the cold of the heavens and the heat of those too cowardly to traverse them. It respects you. It will serve you well. In occurrence, your Blemmigan Voyager quality is now 1, because we have one Blemmigan Voyager. And we lost 50 sovereigns, but that's okay. We still have 140. That's great. Still don't know where to get hours for the circus. 170. What is... doesn't say how much he'll pay for them. Does it say that somewhere else? Maybe in the journal. No. Oh, okay. You have heard of jumbles of undistinguished souls being shepherded through the Reach on Spirifer engines. Where did we hear about that? Okay. Good to know. Hate to do it, but hate to run out of things. All right, well, you know what? We might as well go looking for the circus. Oh, did I get a port report? I don't think I did. Definitely want to do that. Port Avon, write a port report. Alrighty. Quiet day in Port Avon. Oh, buy cheap fuel at the engine yard. Oh, heck yes. All right, that was worth it. All right, so the circus lies somewhere to the north. Chester's over here, so let's just head up this way and see what we see. If we die, we just start back over at Port Avon. Here's a passage through. Maybe. Going sort of north. It's fine. We'll find something. There's always something to find in the high waters. I see the beam of, was that a ship or a lighthouse? That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. Fine, fine. We're heading north. The sky here is scarred by old battles, wreckage crusted like scabs. Fun! You guys fighting anybody? Any hands? I'll try not to hit ya. Sheridan's Expanse. Oh yeah, you're not great at this. Nothing up. Oh, we leveled up. A cluster of islands lie in the mist. Strings of bunting flutter optimistically between them. We have learned from our experience. We get to take another facet. I've got an interlude in red and gold, masterpiece, scandal, August Avenues, and a lost love. All right. Ooh, hearts are still down. We want hearts. We want scandal, lost love. I think we're going with lost love. Love, the gradual erosion of that which separates you from someone else. The fitting together of two lives, as intricately and intimately as the threads in a tapestry of the cells of your skin. And when one of those lives ends, what remains of the other? You love, you lost. How badly does it hurt now? Well, what's going to give us the best stats? Oh, yeah, we want hearts and iron. So it's like a fresh wound, as red now as it was then. Sometimes the grief is raw, ravaging, a wolf howl in a midwinter's night. At other times it sullenly sleeps, waiting for a reason, any reason, to lift its head and howl again. You see, Augustina is going to channel that into her great work. All right, we have found the circus. And we are without terror. A new port. The crew are relieved to see land. Perhaps unwisely. Gervais's Rest. A traveling circus is settled here, too afraid to go further and too afraid to turn back. Its clanking, gaudy locomotive scavenges such audiences as it can from nearby homesteads and delivers them for an evening of shabby, desperate big top magic. Oh, there's an amiable vagabond. You'll find him waiting serenely at Gervais's Rest, clay pipe clamped between his feet. What do you want to sign on? I don't have it, so never mind. The inconceivable circus, the greatest show. That's what the adverts promise. The reality is not impressive. Aside from the big top that dominates the circus, the place is shabby, poorly maintained, and even more poorly attended. Bored-looking circus folk run rotting booths. The clowns painted on smiles are no match for the deep-set misery behind the grease paint. Even the calliope music, playing on a rundown piano, is more grimly resolute than cheery. We're gonna write a port report. The big top looms dramatically in the fog of the Reach, but it's not nearly as imposing as the massive obelisk floating nearby. Some enterprising soul is hung bunting between it and the big top. As for the circus itself, outside of the performers, it's practically deserted. You may be the first new face in the audience for quite a while. Well, all right then, let's purchase tickets. The urchin hands over your tickets with no apparent enthusiasm. Thanks, he mutters. You have 5 tickets to the circus. Well, let's enter the big top. The pride of the circus, whatever that counts for here. No one in the meager audience displays any enthusiasm, not even when the ringmaster thunders in on a horse-drawn calliope. Then come the acts themselves. Oh dear. The humiliated magician's trapdoors fail to open, leaving his glamorous assistant notably unvanished. The bereaved acrobat swings from a single trapeze, the other hangs lonely and unused. The pensive clown's fire juggling act ends in disaster, and not the humorous kind. The less said about the lion tamer, the better. He should recover. We gained a Sky story. He has spent time at the circus. And we lost 2 tickets. But we can still visit the amusements. This should be enjoyable. Most of the stalls here are empty, their owners either asleep or long since gone. You gamely make the most of them. From the Hall of Mirror, there's only one. The Whack-A-Rat game currently closed due to the rats having unionized. Oh, excuse me. At least the day proves quiet, with nothing actively trying to kill you. In the high wilderness, that alone counts as a vacation. And the circus staff are coming to recognize our face. Oh, that's not much of a chance there. 20% chance. No, try to sneak behind the tents. Guests are not allowed back here. That makes it more interesting. A pair of clowns whose painted on smiles do not match their actual scowls spot you almost immediately. There is nothing funny about the heavy sticks they carry. You are less than politely escorted back to the big top. Perhaps if you were better known around here, they would be less concerned. So we gotta spend more time at the circus. Uh, okay, you're selling what you need. I can't buy. Oh dear. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna sell a supply. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. How many do they need? Oh, whoops. Keep doing that. 5 barrels. All right, well, I now have $371 thanks to them selling what they need. So now, buy back that supply we sold. Anything else? Oh, we can recruit him now. What did he do? Oh, he needed 2 Sky stories, which, you know what? Those are pretty easy to get. So He claims to be an expert in snake wrangling, thimble twisting, and stick swinging. He professes to be a psychologist, mythologist, and escapologist. He boasts he can tell stories that'll haunt you until you die and play tunes that'll make stones dance. If all that fails to entice you, he supposes he could turn his hand to signaling. He couldn't care less for your sovereigns. He wants to swap stories. And he's going to increase our hearts by 4, our veils by 4, and our Bohemia affiliation by 1. Heck yeah, come aboard, amiable vagabond! When you accept him aboard, he pulls a grimy bottle of something opaque and unidentifiable from his inner coat pocket and takes a long celebratory swig. I hope you're not having second thoughts already, he says and roars with laughter. He has no luggage to speak of, just the bindle over his shoulder and a fiddle in a battered leather case. Once he has slung both onto his bed, he heads to the galley and starts performing card tricks and telling ribald jokes to the crew. Most find him charming. Several make their apologies and abscond. All right, we got a new officer. Look at that. That's pretty darn good. And you know what? I have been playing for a couple of hours and my voice is starting to give out. So we're gonna undock to save. And then I think we are gonna call it on our first journey into the high wilderness, which I think went pretty darn well. We did not die. We are ending our session with over $300, which is pretty darn good. We have lots of supplies and fuel, full hull, 7 out of 10 crew, and we still have some space in our hold in case we come across some treasures. Yeah, I'd say very successful run. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching this on YouTube in the future, hello in the future, and I hope you enjoyed. Um, I'll be streaming again at some point. I don't really have a schedule. It's kind of just when I feel like it and have the time. Alrighty. Have a good one, everybody.